Well, what a difference a day makes. It was absolutely gorgeous for the last, what, I bet about a month really. It's been absolutely fabulous. We all knew it was going to come to an end because we've all lived in this country long enough to know that all good things come to an end, and when they come to an end, they come to a crashing end. And now the temperature has dropped, it's been raining all night. We've just taken a break in the rain this morning because my camera, the camera I use, isn't waterproof. I have got waterproof cameras at home, but this is my favourite, so I use this. So we're taking a break in the rain just to have a little bit of a chat. The wind is blowing in from my left and there's rain on the wind and it's cold, but it's lovely to be out here anyway. I've always said that, I always will say that. I just love being out here. Because the weather's not brilliant, it's quite quiet out here this morning. I'm sure it will fill up because people who have dogs have to take the dogs out, and I bet everybody is sitting at home having another cup of tea or another cup of coffee and waiting to see what happens in the next half an hour. But we're out here, we've only seen one or two people. The rain seems to be drying off, the wind has dropped a little bit, and when the wind drops, the temperature goes up a little bit. So it's not bad, but it's very quiet out here. And when it's quiet, that leads, I think, to a more peaceful mind. It leads to an emptier mind. If you come out here with a clear mind, not thinking too much about anything, then there is very little to think about when you get out here. You're just walking about, appreciating the nature. We're in a little woodland now, and we're just appreciating the nature, the wind on our face, what bit of wind there is at the moment. The colours, because it's that kind of light where the sun doesn't bleach out colours. It's not dark enough to make the shadows too deep to see detailing. So it's a perfect light. It's not a bad light for photography actually, even though there's just a dull gunmetal grey sky above us, but it is still nice. So here I am walking along with an empty mind. The thing is with your mind, it fills up, doesn't it? There's nothing you can do about it. You cannot just walk along with an empty mind unless you are meditating or something like that, in which case your mind isn't actually empty anyway. You are still aware of your surroundings, but your mind is empty, free to go its own way. And I think that your environment dictates a lot of that. Your environment has a massive influence about what goes on in your mind. When I'm out in the country here, it's just a beautiful place to be. It's not too busy because it's green. So you've got this kind of just a blanket green, different hues of greens and browns. That's simple, it's not complicated. The sounds, all I've got is the bird song. The odd car right in the distance, but it's just the odd bird song. And that's all there is to influence what goes on in my mind. So my mind just takes up a kind of gentle, nice, pleasant, low-key trajectory. Whereas if you're in a busy environment, a town, an office, something like that, where things are happening, then no matter how much you try to free your mind, it will take on the environment around you, won't it? Obviously it will. It's difficult to stand in a busy thoroughfare, in a busy office, in a factory, wherever, and just be at peace in a gentle environment with a kind of nothing going on in your mind. It's so difficult to do. So that's what I mean by, I think your environment dictates what goes on in your mind. And I think we all owe it to ourselves to find some time in our busy lives to get ourselves into an environment where you can just let your mind be free. Your mind needs a rest. You go to sleep at night, well, that doesn't give your mind a rest. That gives your body a rest. That gives your muscles time to relax and rejuvenate. But it doesn't necessarily give your mind that time off, because your mind is asleep. It needs to be conscious of being free. It needs to be you be awake and your mind actually consciously going to the right place to relax. To let your mind sit out in the sun, just like your body sits out in the sun. To let your mind sit on a hillside, just like your body sits on a hillside, and relax. And that's what it's doing out here today. I mean, what happens when you go to work? You go to work, you work all day, you come home, you've got things to do because you've been working for 8 hours and the travelling that goes with that. So everything you would normally do, that your body that should be done in 24 hours, given the chance, is now done in a few hours in the evening. So your evenings are hectic, aren't they? And then you've got your home life, everything you've got to do before you put the kids to bed. And then you sit and you watch the television. But the thing is, that's stimulation as well, isn't it? So it's a stimulation not of your own creating. So your mind's active again. And I suppose it's all right for people like me. I'm retired. I can take my time. I can free my mind whenever I want to. I can just get out in the countryside, which I do 2 or 3 times a day. And it's great and I love it. And you'll be saying, yeah, but it's all right for you. But I did work. I did have a life before retirement. I did bring up a family. But I still managed to get some peace in that, because this has just been a lifelong thing for me, because I've always worked outside, spent a lot of time working in the Forestry Commission, in the woodlands and hills, and living in little cottages in the middle of woods, and it just became a thing. But even when I was married, we spent a lot of time with our kids out in the countryside, which means, yes, you have to entertain your kids, but they also entertain themselves. So even then, I got time to just free up and free my mind and calm down and stare into the middle distance before one of them fell over and scraped the knee and demanded attention once more, like they do. So just remember, no matter how much of a go-getter you want to be, no matter how much you want to provide for your family, which is very commendable, and we should all do that if we've got families, it's our responsibility. No matter how much you want to do that, remember that you need downtime. You will never be successful if you push, push, push. If you push, 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 and then chill, you have a chance of being successful and being happy. Jeff Bezos doesn't push, push, push full time. You can bet he spends some of his time on his arse looking into the middle distance. I bet Bill Gates is the same. But he spends some of his time sitting on his arse doing nothing. It's important to do nothing. It's important to come out to places like this and feel the wind, the chill, the sun, the rain, the drizzle, the snow, everything on your face. It's important, and it works. It really does work. So be like Jeff Bezos, be like Bill Gates. That will irritate many people, but just find a bit of time to chill. Find somewhere like this, because it's fantastic. I'm standing here and all I can hear is the birds. Can you hear the birds? Just in the background. All around me, everywhere, 1 minute to my left, 1 minute to my right. It's beautiful. There's a reservoir behind me that's just flat and peaceful and still and tranquil. So try and find somewhere like this, because this environment is just a jumping off point for having a peaceful mind. So we're going to carry on, because it's raining a little bit, but we don't mind, because when we get home, we've always got a dry house, dry clothes, a cup of tea, and a warm bed for Molly to lie in. So on a rainy day, we'll just leave you with a minute of nice spring greenness. We shall see you all on the flip. Peace and love.